Does starting a new online business feel like you have to learn a whole new language just to understand what's going on? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 11 of the most critical and important terms you need to know to get ahead in your online business. Let's go. The most important term you need to know when it comes to your online business is conversion. Okay, what is a conversion? What are you converting into what, right? Well, a conversion is basically when an event happens that you want to happen. So it could be a lead. Let's say somebody enters their email address into a form field and they hit submit. That's a conversion because that event has happened that you want to happen, right? It could also be a sale. So let's say you want a conversion event to be a sale, you just name it a conversion, right? Whenever something happens that you want to happen, that's called a conversion. Another important term you need to know to make a profit with an online business is a sales funnel. Okay, what is a sales funnel? Do you go to your kitchen and get one of those funnel things and put something in it and sales magically pop out? I wish. No, instead, a sales funnel is a series of carefully constructed web pages which walk somebody through who's never heard of you before, i.e. cold traffic, a cold prospect, all the way through to buying something from you. After all, if you just go straight in with, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? Typically, people will say no and you'll have a very low response rate. A much more effective way of doing this is using a sales funnel to guide them through that process and educate them more about you and how you can help them. So for example, instead of just saying, hey, buy my stuff right away, you start them off with a free PDF report or a video tutorial or a masterclass or something like that. Once they've consumed that or at least opted in for it, then you offer them the opportunity to go ahead and buy your stuff, maybe a low price point to begin with, and then you might upgrade them to a higher price point and so on until they become a high-paying, high-value client. Now there are many different types of sales funnels and approaches you can use to turn somebody who's never heard of you before into a loyal customer or client, but unfortunately we don't have time to cover all of them in this episode. But if you want to learn more about sales funnels and how they can help you to make a profit, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else, and you'll learn more about them in future episodes. Another important term you need to know to get ahead in your online business is a lead magnet. Okay, what is a lead magnet? Well, typically it's a piece of content which is highly valuable but doesn't give away the entire farm, which you give away to people who've never heard of you before for free. So this should be seen as the initial introduction with your new prospects who've never heard of you before, kind of like a virtual handshake, to get them to know, like, and trust you before you ask them to buy something from you. So this is typically a PDF report, which is roughly 10 pages of content, or a video tutorial, which is roughly 10 to 15 or 20 minutes long, depending on the price point of the thing you're selling afterwards, or maybe even a mini course, like a series of videos or something like that. Basically something which is valuable in itself, but doesn't fix the entire problem, because that's what your paid offer is for. So it's kind of like a little appetizer. You see those people at the grocery stores, with plates of food, and they're like, have this little tiny bit of cheese, and it's incredible, and then you buy the whole aisle, right? It's kind of like that. So let's say you have that piece of free content, the lead magnet, to get people into your audience before they buy something from you, so your response rates are a lot higher. How do you get them into your audience in the first place? How do you get them to join your email list, right? Well, typically this is done using something called a squeeze page, okay? A squeeze page. Now, this is not like you're squeezing people into something. It's kind of like you have a page which explains the benefits or the things they're going to achieve after going through your free content, your lead magnet, and then they enter their email address to get that free thing. It's kind of like a free bribe. It's like, hey, do you want this free thing? Go ahead, enter your email address, and we'll send you some marketing promotions afterwards, along with some more free content, of course, as well. Because don't forget, as a marketer, you should not just be hammering people with promotions. It should be a mix of free, valuable content and, some promotions as well to get them to get even more value from you, right? Now, these squeeze pages are typically very short types of web pages, and they will have usually just a headline and an opt-in field, and that's it, right? Sometimes with cold traffic like Facebook advertising, Google advertising, and so on, you might have to have more stuff in there, like a little bit about the author or the creator or whatever else, and then some of the benefits as well, right? But usually it's intentionally very short to have one core call to action, one main thing you want them to do, which is to get them to opt in. If you have like links at the top of your web page and then all kinds of other calls to action at the bottom about your product and like how you can help them and all the different services you offer, you're going to get a very low response rate or a very low conversion rate on that page. And you want that to be as high as possible to get the maximum number of people onto your email list so you can build that audience and make more profit. So essentially, a squeeze page is usually the very first step in a sales funnel, which leads people into purchasing your stuff and you making a profit. And that brings us on to another important term. Now, whenever you're advertising, you will typically be advertising one one page. You'll be sending your people to this one page over and over and over again. That is called your landing page, okay? Now, some people call this different things, but we like to call it a landing page because that's where people land on after clicking on your ads or learning more about you from social media or whatever else, right? So the landing page can be whatever you choose. It's just a universal term for the people, where they go, where they land on after they click on your ads. Now, whenever you're promoting anything paid on the internet, typically you will have a sales page, okay? Now, a sales page is, as the name suggests, a page where you make sales, okay? So it tells the prospect all they need to know about the thing you're selling and how it's going to help them. Notice here, it's not just about features. It's not about how many pages your thing has or how many videos it has or how long the course is or whatever else. It's about the benefits, how it's going to change their life for the better. And that, my friends, is a sales page. Now, typically you can write this yourself and you will get some mediocre results, but I prefer and I recommend to my clients to hire a copywriter who can write the sales copy for you, which brings me very nicely onto the next term, which is copy. Okay, so sales copy, what is that? Well, typically copy are the words that you write on the page. This is not to be confused with copyright, the legal term for, not having somebody rip you off, It's copy in terms of the words you write on a page to persuade somebody who is not really that interested in your stuff to become super interested and want to buy your stuff right away. And this is because copywriters are very good at knowing the exact words to use on the page, which trigger that emotional reaction, which ultimately leads to a prospect buying your stuff. They know exactly what to say, when, and how that should flow on the page, and that is what you typically pay for. And just to really drill this point home here, when I wrote some copy for my website, even after 14 years of doing this stuff, I got a conversion rate of about 1%, which is about average. But a copywriter turned what I had into a 4% conversion rate. So they 4x'd our sales just with one copywriter. So if you're looking for an easy way to bump up your sales, look into getting a copywriter. Now, of course, sales don't just materialize out of thin air, right? You need people going to your website and going through your profit process or sales funnel, whatever you want to call it, and buying your stuff. That is a term we use for traffic, okay? People going to your website and checking out your stuff is called traffic. Now, a lot of people think that the more traffic you have, the more money you're going to make, but that is not always true because traffic is not created equal. Instead, you should be focusing on the quality of your traffic in terms of how pre-sold somebody is or how likely they are to buy your stuff versus just getting everyone and anyone to look at your website and then get a little bit confused because they're like, well, this doesn't really apply to me. So instead of thinking, how can I get the most traffic in the world, think about how you can get more high quality traffic from the people who actually want to hear what you have to say. Now, when you're getting website traffic from different places around the web, like social media, advertising networks, and so on, you will typically have a big brain which dictates who sees your ads. And that is called an algorithm, okay? That is the algorithm. Think of it like this weird invisible brain in the internet somewhere, and that is dictating, it's making all these millions of decisions every single minute as to who sees your ad, who is responding well, who isn't responding well, how good your content is, and it's analyzing all these different things about your ads, your content, your profile, your behavior on the platform and everything else. And that is an algorithm. Now, some people try and fight the algorithm like, oh, I don't care about it, it's not going to get me any results or whatever else. But honestly, if you try to play to the algorithm instead of fighting it, you will get much better results. When you start getting traffic on your website, you will typically have good results or bad results. Now, how do you turn those bad results into good results? Well, that's called CRO, which is short for conversion rate optimization, okay? And this is the process of looking, based on the feedback you get from your audience, your statistics and everything else, at what is working well, what is not working well, and setting up experiments or tests, or even split tests if you're feeling fancy, to maximize your results on your web pages. So let's say, for example, you have a few ideas of which headline to use on your landing page, and you're not really sure which one is going to work best. You can set up a split test to split your traffic between these different versions of the page which have different headlines, and the software will tell you which one is working best. How awesome is that? So instead of guessing which is going to work best for you and get you the best results and sales, the split test will tell you which version is working best to get you the best results, and then you can use that version as the winner moving forward. That is the process of conversion rate optimization, because you're optimizing your conversion rates. Another really important term you need to know when starting a brand new online business is a call to action. What is a call to action? Well, it's typically when you ask somebody to do something that you want them to do. So it could be, for example, to sign up to your free lead magnet. It could be to go and check out your sales page. Obviously, you wouldn't call it a sales page, but you'd say, go ahead and learn more about my paid offer. It could be to click a link in an email. It could be to watch a video on social media, whatever it might be. Or in this case, my call to action to you watching this episode or listening to it on a podcast is go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this episode and want to see more of them in the future. And also go ahead and hit the thumbs up or like button if there's one available, depending on where you're watching. And don't forget to check out our website at digitalprosperity.com if you want a proven step-by-step plan to start and grow a successful and profitable online business. Have a great day.